Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna give you guys a short summary of how I got started in this hobby, and I'm doing this for the Rod's Food t-shirt contest. So good luck to everyone out there, and I hope you guys enjoy the story. So when I first started, I believe I was 8 or 10 years old, and I remember being at the pet store with my dad, and we ended up getting a 10-gallon aquarium. And I remember going home, and I can't recall all the fish that I've gotten, but the one that stood out to me was a black telescope goldfish, I believe. And I remember at one point the goldfish was kind of swimming a little bit odd, and I actually called the pet store to get some advice. I was just being over dramatic, I guess, because it was my first tank and I really cared for these fish. Fast forwarding a couple years later, uh, I started keeping cichlids, and I remember just killing a lot of fish, to be honest. See, I had a friend who got me into these cichlids, and I didn't know what I was really doing, and I was mixing different species that were too aggressive to one another. Once I started doing my research and getting better at maintaining these fish alive and not killing each other, I moved on to a 55-gallon tank. And the reason for a 55-gallon tank was because my fish were growing and I had turtles as well. Now I kept these red-eared sliders with my cichlids, and at the time they were Oscars, convicts, Jack Dempseys, and a few different species of catfish. Now here's an old video clip I found of my old tank. After the 55-gallon, I decided to buy a 125-gallon tank. As you can see, my Oscars were huge. I'm going to put my hand up on the glass in a little bit to show you in comparison of size. But yeah, all these guys have their own personalities, and while there's actually a lot to them, a lot of stories. I'm not gonna go in full depth, but yeah, after moving from place to place, I had to get rid of my 125, and I couldn't keep these guys. I really do miss them. They were great fish. I remember they used to fight a lot and splash around, and there was nights where I'd be sleeping, and every time they would fight, the water would splash on my face and wake me up. Anyway, fast forwarding some more, I remember thinking maybe I should just keep small 5-gallon tanks, Nanos 2.5 gallons, and I would keep betas, and then I moved on to planted tanks, and I got into it with researching for CO2 canisters and just wanted my tank to thrive as much as possible. And then we move on to saltwater. Now this was around the time where I met my wife, and I remember mentioning to her how I was always curious and interested in having a saltwater tank, but I was always kind of concerned that it would be too hard. But the more I walked into fish stores and I stayed in the saltwater section, I started convincing myself I was up for the challenge, and honestly, I'm glad I took that challenge. And then my birthday came along, and my wife, who was then my girlfriend at the time, decided to buy me an aquarium. And I was so excited. I did everything I needed to do to get the water to cycle. And then I got my first 2 clownfish, and just started getting addicted to this hobby, to be honest. My first coral was these pulsing zinnias and a couple of zoanthids, and I believe it was also a toadstool. And fast forwarding, I'm not gonna lie, I killed a lot of coral. My zoanthids are doing good since I've gotten them, and my pulsing zinnias, they are very hardy. But I have killed a lot of torch corals, and well, I can't really remember anything else, to be honest. I've had so much. But yes, time passed on. I continued to upgrade my equipment and learn how to maintain different corals and try to maintain water parameters. and my first saltwater tank was a 20-gallon, and I finally upgraded to a 50-gallon cube tank from SC Aquariums, and I absolutely love this tank. And right now everything is thriving. I've even begun to start getting into SPS. So that about wraps it up about how I got into this hobby and where I'm at today. By the way, these are still the same clownfish that I've had since the beginning. And again, there's just so much I left out detail wise, because otherwise that would probably be a movie worth of a YouTube video. So guys, thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this short story. I hope I didn't bore anyone out there, but again, just thanks for watching, and I'll be sure to keep you guys updated. Thank you.